I want to talk to you about grief today. So grief is the most humbling, hard, beautiful, paradoxical, mind-exploding, heartbreaking, sometimes life-giving, priority-clarifying thing. What comes from loss is the revelation of love, the revealing of how much you have loved. And in this process of losing someone or something that is deeply part of you, you are dying in a way as well. So it's a dose of the human condition, which is more than what you were ready for, basically. That's what grief does. It hurts your body. In exchange for the hurt it does to your body, it gives you wisdom. And the wisdom brings a level of humility. And that humility isn't always accessible to people who haven't been through grief and seen how life can have its way with you, how nature can have its way with you. A lot of us shelter ourselves within comfort and within the feeling that we have it figured out, or within skill sets or titles or labels, finances, friend groups. And it's good that we do this, and it's normal, and we should. And at the same time, grief strips that away and says, you know nothing. You know nothing about life. And that can be incredibly liberating, and it can be absolutely destroying. What's tricky about this is you can't unsee it, you know? It's like when you've seen enough birth, enough death, enough change, enough of the realest, most raw, most incredibly potent moments that a human can live. And I'm not saying that it's infinite. The whole world's joy and love and beauty and suffering, I haven't experienced all of that. I've just had a taste, the microcosm of that. But the more you taste it, the more you're just like, fuck me. Like, I know what I know more, and I know that there's so much I don't fucking know. And you can almost have this like strange addiction to the truth bomb that it gives you. Like you recognize in the moment of loss how much there is to gain. And you recognize in the gain how much there is to lose. And like life kind of implodes on itself. You're like, okay, I get what this is. What the fuck? What the fuck? I don't get what this is. All of these things. Now, is that insanity? Is it insane to be able to hold these multiple experiences within oneself at once? Serious question. Answer this for me. I want to fucking know. Or is that the condition? I think sometimes the condition looks a bit insane, and I think that compassion is the answer. It's easy to look at others and say, hey, wow, you got some shit going on. It's hard to look at ourselves. In the context of relationships, it doesn't matter who's who. The relationship is the third thing that requires looking after. It doesn't matter if one person's a 90-year-old sage from the Himalayas and the other person's a 7-year-old kid from fucking New York. It doesn't matter. The relationship is its own entity, and it requires nourishment to the ability level of all participants. There is no right and wrong. There's no more advanced person and less advanced person. That is irrelevant. I say this because grief is one of those processes or experiences that has the potential to unite us. and to show us that we're very similar, and to show us that our walls and our protective mechanisms aren't worth as much as we thought, and that there's much more to life. And our relationship with grief is often reflective of our relationship with other people too, and the way we relate to this unacceptably vast experience from our small version of ourselves that's trying to grasp it is also how we're likely to relate to what we don't understand in others. So no tool, no assistance, no loving support should be rejected. For example, people argue about whether or not life has meaning. People argue about whether or not there's a God. It doesn't matter to me. I'll take any help I can get. If meaning helps me, I'll take it. If meaning's hurting me, I won't take it. If God helps me, I'll speak to God. If I don't feel like speaking to God is helping me, I won't speak to God. I'm not attached to there being a God or not being a God. I'm not attached to there being a right or a wrong way. I have certain values. I have a certain part of me that's always going to hope that there is this divine embrace of something greater, and a big part of me does believe in that. But the belief is just words. If such a thing exists, I don't think it needs to be named. I don't think it needs to be called God. I don't think it matters. I think it's there anyway. So being right and wrong and knowing this, knowing that, having the secrets, all of the debate, it doesn't matter. We're flesh and blood, and there's something more than that that's going on between us, and that doesn't need to be touched by words, and it's got nothing to do with belief systems. We're united in our grounding in the very basic mess and beauty of what it is to be human. In that there is profound connection, and little more than that is needed, although we enjoy entertaining ourselves and sometimes getting tangled up in more complexity. Humans love to expand their minds and the options of their life and the ways we show up and relate, the things we create, the things we do, in the same way that a tree root likes to expand through the soil to find the nourishment and nutrients in there. Some ways of living will work for a while and then they won't. Some cultures will come for a while and then they'll go. Some roots will reach and then they'll stop reaching, and another one will sprout out. And that's kind of the essence of this. It's all finite. And in the acceptance of that, and in the wonder of the great mystery, there is also this beautiful, beautiful, comedic, fulfilling meaning. So yeah, I don't really have an insight to finish on. This isn't a teaching video. I don't have it figured out. I'm just sharing what feels true for me. And I think that's all we're ever really doing. And it would be nice if more often, more of us could be honest about that truth. It's not always easy to package up and sell. Some people need to make money and they happen to have done a lot of living in this area. So what you're paying for when you work with someone like a therapist or a coach or whatever is you're paying for the life that they've lived, that they're attempting to share with you. But you must also know that their truth is incomplete without you, and that ultimately you're seeking support because life can be, sometimes it can feel like too much to hold alone, and the denial can creep in and the dissociation can creep in, and that's a natural mechanism which helps us to survive when things are beyond what we can understand, accept, integrate. So you can help yourself with other people, but you're not paying because they have some incredible universal secret. You're paying when you get help for support, which is worth paying for, but it's equally available in other ways for free, and you don't have to choose. If you have money, you should seek support. If you don't have money, you should seek support. We all need to support each other. We all have different skill sets. Some of the time, these skill sets are really useful and they can fill in certain deficits, help us see things in different ways, but there is no ultimate. Ultimate is the process of connection. That is the only ultimate. That is the only master key, to see the humanity, to connect with the humanity, to let the guard down, to be a human with another human being, to touch hearts, and then we can exchange tools. But touching hearts is free.